satellite from our Los Angeles studios, Mr. Rod Stewart.
Good evening, all. That's enough.
We don't want to use all the time up in just applause, Rod, because you don't do too many of these, do you?
No, this is the second one I've done in my life, and I'm frightful of it.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, and we're very pleased that you agreed to talk to us. You know, your old mate, of course, is here, Molly Meldrum. Say hello to Molly.
Hi, Rod.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, how are you,
Ian?
Rod?
How are you?
Very well
Fine.
today.
That's very, very formal. Ian, you can call him Molly if you want to.
Well, last time I spoke to Molly, he said, now you have to call me Ian. I'm taking my career seriously.
He's the only one, Rod.
No.
You mentioned, Molly mentioned last night that you once asked him to leave one of your parties because he wasn't formally dressed. Do you remember that?
No, you're making up as you go along, Ian, again, aren't you?
No.
I don't remember that at all.
The Hilton, remember the Hilton? We had to come
No,
dressed
I
in...
can't remember yesterday, mate, let alone a party at the Hilton.
Fair enough.
Rod, world stardom, you've achieved that. Do you have any regrets that way back when you didn't concentrate on soccer, which is another great love of your life?
Well, I still do concentrate. I play soccer now 3 times a week, and I think, in fact, I know I love the game a lot more now than I did when I was a professional for 2 months, but no, I've got no regrets at all. If I was playing soccer, my career would have been finished by now.
Speaking of soccer, Rod, I believe your own soccer team has among its members a player who married Kim Rand, the daughter of our New South Wales Premier.
You mean here in Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, it's a team called the Exiles, which is a totally British team apart from Craig Sheftel, who is married to Kim Rand.
Right.
He only stays on the team because he's a mate of mine.
We have had some hints over here in the press that after your US tour, you're going to retire. There's no chance of that, is there?
No, that's a lot of old cobblers. No, we're going down to Japan, we're having Christmas off, and then we're coming down to Australia and New Zealand.
How long's the tour for Australia?
Which is where you are at this moment in time.
Yeah, I realise that. How long's the tour of Australia, do you know?
I believe it's 5 weeks.
Rod, do blondes have
But more if you want it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure there will be many extra concerts. Do blondes have more fun, Rod?
I wouldn't say so, especially not peroxide blondes like I am.
Molly?
Well, now listen, onto the record side, you must be very happy with the album.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to judge the album now because I've lived so close to it for the last 6 months, but it seems to be getting a very favourable reaction.
Yeah.
Here in America, anyway.
And also the single's doing very well on all the world charts, including here.
Good,
Yeah.
good. It's about time we had a hit in Australia.
Well, don't blame us.
Rod, what about
You blame
audiences?
me? Yeah?
What about audiences around the world? Do they vary? Do you have any particular favourite audience in any country?
Well, the 3 favourites for me are probably, you know, when I play London for obvious reasons, and when I play Glasgow for obvious reasons, and also I live in Los Angeles, and that is also home to me. So they're probably the 3 of the most important, but the reaction is very similar throughout the world. It's really very, very similar, you know.
Where's
thankfully.
the best recording in the world?
I would say here in Los Angeles, but you're only as good as the songs you write. I mean, if you're writing a load of old rubbish, you can be in the best studio in the world. You're still going to record a load of old rubbish.
We've talked a lot in this program about clips, video clips, and the importance of doing them. Do you find them a chore, or do you realise their value?
They're very valid, yeah. They can be very hard work, especially for me, because you have to start sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm beginning to love them a lot more than I did used to. Because I've been making videos since 1973. It's nothing new to me. They weren't called videos then. They were called promotional clips. But I do enjoy making them, yeah. And I think they're very, very important.
When you started off, did you realise that things were going to happen as big as they've eventually turned out for you?
I was hoping they would, yeah. But I didn't come into this business to be famous or make a lot of money. It was just something real natural to me. That's the only thing I could do, play football and sing. And I tried playing football and failed, so I thought, well, I might as well have a go at singing. And this is what happened.
Apart from singing and football, what do you like to do? How do you get away from it all?
Well, I mind my own business.
Oh, well, you're not turning, are you?
Well, that would be asking. I mean, it's like asking someone if they're out of work, what do they do with their day? I mean, my music takes up a great deal of the day, and I've got 2 kids that take up the other half of the day. If there's any spare time, I fly around the world, watch football matches, and I read a lot. It's very boring and uninteresting.
Are the kids going to travel with you to Australia?
Maybe they will, yeah. I'll have to ask the wife.
You've got to get permission from her.
Yeah.
Yes, listen. Oh, how is Alana? She all right?
I don't know, I haven't seen her for quite a while. I believe she's okay. She's working hard at her film career, and I wish her all the best.
Right, now listen, you were saying before about recording studios, when Bert asked you about recording studios, and about it's the songs that are written that's the most important thing. Do you think at any time over the last, say, 5 or 6 years that you have what you've termed written some rubbish?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been songs that, when I've finished the lyrics especially, that I've thought, well, that wasn't a real classic set of words. They were just like... I've made a few pop songs over the years,
right,
if that's what you mean. But, I mean, we're all allowed to make mistakes, including you, Molly.
Right.
We had last night on the show Arlo Guthrie, Rod, the man who's so big in the 60s. I asked him, when he writes, did he think commercial or did he just write as he felt? What about you?
It's a bit of each, really. I think you need to have a hit single on an album to be able to sell the album, but I've been at this so long now, I find I please myself. I try and please myself, but I'm very commercially minded. I realise you've got to have a hit single on an album. Arlo Guthrie, that's interesting, because Woody Guthrie, his father was one of my all-time idols when I was just starting. It's funny you should have him on the programme. Carry on.
Thank you, thank you. I was going to ask, with fellow stars, do you have any among the ranks that are particularly personal friends, or is it really a case of, you know, dog eat dog?
Well, as you know, Elton John and I are close friends. The only time we're not friends is when we both got records out at the same time, which is now. So we don't talk to each other now. We send each other telegrams to notify each other who is higher in the charts.
How long have you known Elton?
Oh, I think Elton's known me for about 17 years, because he was in... It's a long story. I think we've known each other for about 17 years, off and on.
You mentioned Woody Guthrie.
More off than on.
He was one of your heroes. Who else inspired you in the early days, Rod, when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, it was Al Jolson. My family were very much into Big Al. The first rock and roll records I ever heard was when my brother brought a Little Richard record called The Girl Can't Help It. And then I went into folk music. So really, the early people, it was Al Jolson, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, and that's it. Rock music generally.
Good. We're out of time. I know how much you enjoy doing these things.
It's great.
I do appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you here in Australia, as do millions of people. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Just before we go,
Just one last question.
P.S.
We can count on you coming down this time for the tour, can't we?
Absolutely. The last tours have been cancelled because I was having a family and got married and had 2 kids. But that's all out the way now. I'm coming definitely.
Great. Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rod
mate.
Stewart, Ed Hollywood.